You could accuse me of a false dichotomy, and
Yeah, I know. I've won that. That's the logical fallacy you've agreed to.
I don't know the shape of the
I can't
Earth.
stay if it's not going to be you reasonably admitting the concession that you have given and then just using it immediately after. Now, that's not reasonable.
So
Nathan,
it's
not civil.
I am
You're
not
not being
assuming.
civil. Can you be civil? You've conceded it's a begging the question fallacy to assume the thing you're trying to prove. Let's not
No.
say, well, what I've got to do is assume
I'm
what the
not
Earth
begging
is
the
first.
question because we're not starting with step 2. So we're going to start with step 1, which is to figure out the shape of the Earth, and we don't figure out the shape of the Earth using Eratosthenes.
Okay, figure out. That would be to measure. Figure out. So do the
No,
figures.
no, not
stop,
measure.
Stop.
Absolutely
stop,
not measure.
Stop. You said we'll figure out the shape. That would be to measure
Yes.
it. Figures,
No.
measuring.
No.
Well, they've already got an assumption that the Earth's a sphere. You told us at the beginning of the show that your assumption is Earth's a sphere. You've already made that assumption. Now I want to know, given that all spheres have a radius, I know you're desperate to interrupt me there, Charles, with your little smug grin. I don't mind. I'm nearly there. You just maybe pop yourself on mute before I get to the end of my sentence. There you go. Have a drink. That'll relax your nerves. So we're going to figure it out. You already assume a sphere, Charles. So how do you measure the R value that all spheres, that'll be the one you assume, has? How do you measure it in physical reality?
So I don't assume it's a sphere. Let's take a look. In the globe Earth model, I make careful observations using the 20 or so explorations on my channel, none of which involve measuring the size of the Earth.
I left a comment. That's a
None.
lie. Stop.
Okay.
That's a lie.
So
Stop. That's a lie.
If you use
Stop.
the
Stop. That's a
So
lie.
I let
Sorry,
you speak
you
for
said at
about
the
2
beginning of the
minutes,
show, if
and
this is a
so
real
please allow
reason to
me to
interrupt,
speak,
if there's
okay?
a real overriding
Please allow
objection
me to
like you
speak,
lying,
right?
that would be a
So,
reasonable reason to interrupt you, Charles.
If you
You're not reasonable
measure,
then.
if you make these observations,
Sorry,
Nathan,
Charles.
there's about 20
Charles.
of them. None of them will give you the
Charles.
size of the Earth.
Charles, have you muted me?
No, I've not muted you.
Right.
I
You
don't
said
plan
before the show started, if there's a reasonable reason to interrupt you, like you lying about your explorations that don't assume a sphere. Now, I've gone to your videos prior to this discussion and quoted you where you assume a sphere in those videos. Have you noted your comments in YouTube where I've quoted you? If the Earth is a sphere. That's what is quoted as you saying in your own video. You're now lying about that assumption that you don't need to. There's that grin again. Hey, Charles, that's a nice grin. Hey, yeah, Charles,
so Nathan-
stop. Haven't finished. Just pointing out that you're grinning, haven't quite finished. Let's be civil.
thought you were
Let's be
talking about my
civil.
grin.
Let's be civil.
Let's take a look. In the globe Earth model, in the December solstice, let's take a look. In the globe Earth model,
So I've pointed out that you're lying. You definitely do assume the Earth's a sphere in your explorations on your channel. I've looked and quoted you. So why are you lying?
So, Nathan, I don't assume the Earth is a sphere. Let's take a look. In the globe Earth model, I assume that
Welcome to
we
Flat
don't
Earth.
know the size of
Welcome
the,
to Flat
the shape
Earth.
of the Earth.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
And so,
Welcome to Flat Earth.
The Earth, if you actually listen to the introduction to just about every single one of those presentations, they talk about the Earth could be a flat plane, the Earth could be a sphere. We could not know what the shape of the Earth is, but you could make these careful observations. And then I say, if the Earth is flat, we might expect to see X, Y, Z. And then I also say, if the Earth is a globe,
There it is.
we might expect to
There
see
it is. Stop.
A, B, and C.
Stop. So you
which
do
is
assume
not
the Earth's a
assuming the
sphere.
Earth is a sphere.
So you're saying you don't assume a sphere because you hold it up as a false dichotomy fallacy. No, you definitely
Okay,
do.
okay,
Stop.
so now
I'm in
we
the
can
middle
get
of a
somewhere.
sentence. I've got 10 seconds. My God, check out that grin. He can't wait to interrupt me like the triggered fundy is. Smile for me. Yeah, that's right. So just because you've wrapped it up in a little false dichotomy, grinning, smug git, you think that's not you assuming? Yeah. Look down. Look down while you lie, and I point it out for your audience, Charles. Yeah, look down at the floor, at your shoes, in shame. That's correct. Just because you wrap it up in a false dichotomy fallacy, hide your face too. Hide your shame. You lied. You wrapped up your assumption in a false dichotomy fallacy, and now you're lying about needing to assume the Earth's a sphere. You do. It's done in every one of your videos. I quoted you, now you're lying about it. Now that we've established that you are in fact a liar, you do assume it as a false dichotomy fallacy. That would be you assuming Earth's a sphere and then juxtaposing against another reification you're going to hold up in false dichotomy. Second time. So you're a liar. You definitely assume the Earth's a sphere, you smug grinning git. So, why are you lying to your audience about assuming the sphere and not needing to assume the sphere? Why are you lying?
I am not lying. If the Earth is a globe,
There it is.
we might expect to
There
see.
it is.
In the globe Earth model,
You are lying.
assuming
It's
the Earth
a
is a sphere.
false dichotomy fallacy that you are assuming a sphere in. You lying, smug, grinning git.
If the Earth is a globe,
There it is.
we might expect to
There
see.
it is.
You just interrupted me after 4 words.
Yeah, because you're a liar. You've denied lying, and I've pointed out by example. In your video, by way of false dichotomy, you assume Earth is a sphere.
If the Earth is a globe,
There it is.
we might expect to see.
There it is. You momentarily ago lied about needing to do that in your video. You did it by way of false dichotomy, and now you're lying about it. Not civil. Don't think
false-
that being civil involves interrupting me while I point out that you're lying to me and you're lying to your audience. That's not civil discussion. That's a lying, grinning con artist who's been caught lying with the fallacy he's used to lie pointed out to him. That would be...
So-
That would be... Do you need to interrupt this? Because you're going to try and dance around your lie. Look down at those shoes, my friend. Look down. Yeah? You lied. You did assume the Earth's sphere. You did it by way of false dichotomy.
If the Earth is a globe,
There it is.
we might expect to
There
see.
it is. Do you want to address the false dichotomy in which you assume the sphere rather than just saying you haven't assumed it? Because you have. Don't lie and start by saying you haven't.
May I speak?
You have my permission, you lying smug bitch. Why are you lying
All
to
right,
your
please.
audience about needing to assume a sphere when you do it with false dichotomy? Simple. You may speak.
All right. So the false dichotomy charge.
Stutter for me. Yes, stutter. Stutter around it.
4 words in again before your interruption.
Yeah, I'm pointing out that you're stuttering like a man against the wall. Now grin.
So Nathan, the intention of this conversation is that we talk with each other like people. If the Earth is a globe,
There it is.
we might expect to
There
see.
it is. So we've got a
Not
false
like battering
dichotomy
rams.
fallacy that he's lying about. He's lying about using a sphere assumption. He does it in his video. He just said he didn't need to by way of false dichotomy. I don't want to know what we're here for. I'm here to point out you're a liar. This is the lie I'm here for.
And I just want to point out that Crow XE points out that the sphere and its radius are not assumed.
let's take a look. In the globe Earth model,
They're not assumed by us.
They are assumed by way of false dichotomy. You are a
Okay,
liar.
So false dichotomy, whether the Earth is flat or the Earth is a sphere.
Is your assumption
you
it's a
could-
sphere?
you could push back.
Yeah. It's your
You definitely
model
could push
assumption
back
you're
on that.
holding up in false dichotomy with your side declared as true as the Earth being a
So-
sphere. There's the assumption in the false dichotomy that you're now lying about.
But here's the thing.
But you're a liar.
If you make careful observations, you may conclude that the Earth is a rhombic dodecahedron or something.
let's take a look. In the globe Earth model,
Sorry, non sequitur
I just
fallacy.
talk about-
Non sequitur
I
fallacy.
talk about
His
the two
non
main
sequitur
models.
non sequitur fallacy. It's not civil when I interrupt you to point out that that's a non sequitur fallacy when your false dichotomy has your sphere assumption you're lying about.
So I have told no lies.
let's take a look. In the globe Earth model,
You
have
lied and said you
misrepresented
did not
my
need to
videos.
assume a sphere when you assume it by way of false dichotomy. That's the 4th time I've pointed out your overt lie.
So Nathan,
Where'd you get R? I'm sick of your lies about you saying you don't need R.
I've
You
not lied about a
definitely
single
do.
thing
Where'd you measure
in
it?
the last
Where'd you measure it?
6 years of interaction
Where'd you measure
with
it?
Flat Earth folks on YouTube.
Where'd you measure R? Don't talk about your interactions. Non sequitur. We started by asking where R is.
I've never
You've
lied.
let's take a look. In the globe Earth model,
said you don't need it. Now, I've pointed out in your video where you need it. You need it when you hold it
Where
up
do I
in-
need R?
in the globe Earth model,
Said you don't need it. I've now
I don't
pointed
need
out.
R.
Stop. You said you don't need it. I've pointed out where in your video you need it. You need R when you hold it up in false dichotomy. Now, unless you're going to deny that that was your false dichotomy with a sphere that needs R in it, we can move on. Because you definitely have a false dichotomy, your side of which needs R. Where'd you measure it in physical reality? The false dichotomy globe you held up. Where'd you measure the R for that globe?
So the one part of your argument that has validity is that you could accuse me of a false dichotomy. And
yeah, I know. I've won that fucking point, you spastic. Yeah, I know.
Allow me to finish.
Yeah, Charles.
Okay,
Charles. Me and everyone in the audience knows I've won that
can you
point.
please
Yeah,
allow
Charles,
me to finish
stop.
the sentence?
Stop.
Right.
Stop. Charles, we all know. Charles, stop. We all know I've won that point. Now my question has moved on to where do you measure R in physical reality? The original question you subterfuged away from by way of saying you didn't need it. I've pointed out you do. It's held up in false dichotomy. Now I'm asking again, after you segue away from where you measure R, where you measure R.
Okay, give me at least 22 seconds to respond.
I'll give you what I choose to give you, Charles, right? Okay. I'll give you what I choose to give you. Give me R, the measurement.
Nathan, here's a
Don't care, want R.
Here's a reminder.
Don't care,
Nathan.
want R. Hello?
Here's a reminder, Nathan. This is my show. I am very politely allowing you to.
You're not polite, you're not civil, you're a liar. You're not polite, this isn't civil.
I've never
you lied
to
to me.
anyone.
Don't think that lying to me about needing the R you lied about needing when you held it up in false dichotomy civil. You're not civil, you're a disgusting human being. And I'll talk to you like I'm in charge on your show, because I am. You haven't given me your measurement in reality for R. You've done not.
So
Stop.
I do apologize,
Stop.
folks.
Stop. Don't apologise.